Hello everyone, my name is Will Mydock and I did 516 this year. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what God has been doing in my life. So let's start from the beginning. As I grew up, it felt like life was just a thinning and everyone could tell every time I ended up sinning. A lot of times it even seemed that everyone else but me was winning. But it was okay because I knew that it was just the beginning. And God, you're not finished yet. This person that you've made me, if I have any dignity to even call it mine, for my only existence is with you before and behind. Born into a sinful world with sinful nature, full of lying, stealing, and so much hatred. But God's love was still shown to me, and His grace was taught as fact. My parents were amazing at that. God was evident in my life through both my parents and through others. I believed in God, but even the demons believe and shudder. This belief had to become something more, and that would come with God in my seeking. And so with God, there was a change. There was a change, something inside my bones, within my veins. It had split between bone and marrow, in my arms and in my knees, in that very place that I find what I call me. Jesus, you paid for me with your blood dripping to the earth, one cleansing lamb with death at the end of a virgin birth. But it wasn't the end, you see. It was the King of heaven, humiliated and placed in the floor. Defeating death, He opened the door for me. God, I know your nature, but still I question your motive. Is this how your people live? Searching and searching, chasing and chasing just for a taste of a new thing, which you've promised, a promise, to fill me with your spirit. God, speak to me. Just give me the humility to hear it. God, and I've heard it now. A small whisper of safety and of hope. And just something that I can run to or walk or crawl. Just running and hoping for life and from death a withdrawal. Here with God, rest can be found, even better than sleep. In God's trusted arms is my safe retreat. When the storm clouds rise and the sky is dark and I'm pressed with anxious care, I've a safe retreat in the strong high tower, for no ill can harm me there. And now hide in your safe retreat. I hide in your safe retreat. When the storm clouds fly till they pass me by, I'll hide in your safe retreat. When the lightnings flash and the thunders roar and the storms in fury beat, when they seem so sure to engulf my soul, then I'll hide in your safe retreat. Soon the storms will pass and the sky will clear and my rest be calm and sweet. Trust and wait with no anxious fear, for I'll hide in your safe retreat. I'll hide in your safe retreat. I'll hide in your safe retreat. When the storm clouds rise and they pass me by, I'll hide in your hiding under a rock, but I'm hiding under my rock. I seek and I hide. I'm too weak to speak in the stillness of prayer. There's no secrets, cause God already knows my longing, my yearning, my groaning, my burning, my scars and my hurting. And I'm surprised to hear as much as I see it. I'm only fooling myself when I conceal it. Apart from grace, I will never see your sovereign face, and next to you, the only place to keep my heart heart chase. Otherwise I chase idols to my disgrace and waste time trying to fix what I can only break. But it's when I'm broken and I'm standing open-handed, reaching out to my Father, no one will understand me. In your arms I can safely rest. You're the God who gives life from death. And none of this is wasted. Still becoming who we are. We're ordinary people with extraordinary scars. And we're from a million places, like a million shooting stars. And we belong to hope now. Heaven isn't all that far. Now hide in your safety. Hide in your safety. Yeah. And when the storm clouds rise, we pass, we by. Now hide in your safety. Hide in your safety. But I still have these things that I think will please me. Instead of relying on the only one who truly sees me. See, I thought I understood that Christ died for me, that I'm saved from my sins. He hung on that cross with those nails in his limbs. But now I see that it was so I could be with my Father. Well, that was intense. It's hot up here. That was my creative portion of just the story of pretty much my entire life and my relationship and my walk with God, and a lot of times with others, whether it's my family or friends or church. But that story and that song has so much meaning to me, and it shows so clearly to me who God is, that he is a strong tower, as the lyrics say. He's a strong tower that I can run to when the storms of life are just coming and flooding, and the rain is just pouring down, and the enemy is so real. I can hide in God's safety. And before the song and at the end, there was a spoken word. There were songs that I have written throughout this year that almost like it felt like God like dumped some of them into my heart, and I just wrote them down at like midnight or 2 a.m. or random times, like whether I was having quiet time or out in nature, and I just wrote down these words, these lyrics, and they became something so cool, so creative, so natural, and it figured best to share them and to share them with this song, trying to paint a picture to show others, to show you who God is and how my story is Christ's story, and how I've understood now that Christ died for me so that I could have my life and spend my life with my Father. And so there were lots of different sections. I didn't label them in the song, but there were so many sections, different songs that could be 1 line or 12 lines, and they were about me, they were about struggles, they were about insecurities, learning compassion, learning to forgive others, learning to accept God's forgiveness, accepting new things, and finally, in the end, like I said, learning that my story is Christ's story. And it's a story that he has redeemed, that he died for. And that I can share that, and that just the strength is the joy from that. And so, in this year, I remember in the beginning, our leader, Ryan, I think I was in the first interview with Ryan and Marissa, and Ryan mentioned that for him and Marissa, it was them fanning the flame that God has given me. And that is a very good way to describe what has happened this year, that over my whole life, it has come to God giving me a flame and allowing him and others to fan it, to fan this zeal, this passion, this love that is only there because of Christ. And without Christ, that zeal and that passion can destroy things. It can destroy relationships or cause fear or hate, or it can disconnect and disunify. But with Christ, that zeal and passion is beautiful, and it comes together, and it creates, and it is where life is found with Christ. And so through this year, my lifestyle was changed. My sight was restored. God gave me new sight. He gave me the ability to see others like I'd never seen them before, and to understand and to see where wisdom that God can give us. And it comes in connection with obedience and following him. And then with the passion and the fuel from God to drive that. It is life. That is who God has made me. And it comes out in the relationships. I learned so much this year from my brothers in Christ who I got to move in and live with in a house and just learn from them and be with. And these are my new brothers. And then I have my sisters in the group, and there's 3 girls, and they are all in a journey with Christ, just like all 3 of us guys. And we're all following Christ. And I got to learn so much from each of them. From Nick and Steven and Anya and Kareen and Destiny. And then Brian and Marissa and Kevin as helping lead us, as helping follow Christ, as we followed them, and we're all following Christ together. And so backstory to my life is I grew up Christian family. There's 4 boys in my family. I have 3 brothers. And then my parents, amazing family, following Christ. Grew up in the church my entire life. Grew up at a Christian school my entire life. So much of God I knew about. But a big part of my journey was taking that knowing about to knowing in relationship and experiencing, and the experiential knowledge instead of just learning from a textbook or even learning from the Bible, but allowing the Bible to read me instead of just me reading it, and allowing the Spirit to speak into my life through the Bible and through others and just directly. And after all that, the easiest way for me to describe what happened this year was that anything that God had ever taught me or shown me or let me experience became a reality. And it wasn't in my head anymore. It was reality.